it's Cassie. Welcome back to my channel. If you watched a previous video of mine entitled 50 Random Facts About Me, you would know that I revealed one particular fact. And that fact was I struggled with pornography addiction. Now, when that video posted, I received a lot of feedback. I got a lot of phone calls, emails, text messages, all commending me on my transparency and how I inspired them because they too struggled with pornography addiction. And believe it or not, most of them were Christian women. I know. It shocked me too. It made me feel better to know that I wasn't alone. And because I overcame it, I feel qualified enough to share my experiences with you, the science behind it, as well as the steps that'll help you overcome it as well. Before I get started, I'm gonna go ahead and put out a disclaimer. This video is intended for a very mature audience. My journey to quit wasn't easy, so this is my testimony, and I wanna keep it 100% real and honest with you all. You know, Matthew 26:41 says, pray and watch so that you will not fall into temptation, because the spirit is willing but the flesh is weak. And when I tell you guys, I had to fight my flesh to the point of tears and rage and literally screaming at my reflection in the mirror to stop, because I literally couldn't, and I couldn't do without God's help. So with that being said, if you're here to judge me or to judge any of those who are struggling with this, I'm going to politely ask you to exit stage left, because when I prayed that for God to use me, I vowed to be obedient to his direction. And when I receive confirmation from God, I receive it in repetition, so I know I'm going to be helping someone with this. Luke 15:10 says, there is rejoicing in the presence of the angels of God over one sinner who repents. Now I'm going to shoot for the moon here and say there are possibly could be 1 million people could watch this video, right? But if one person repents and strays away from this addiction, to God be all the glory. I did my job. And with that being said, let's get started. So let's first talk about the science behind pornography addiction and how it affects us mentally. Similar to a cocaine abuser or any other form of addicting behavior such as gambling or overeating, dopamine is being released into the synapses of the brain. Now, when you're watching porn, other neurotransmitters are also being released, such as oxytocin, norepinephrine, and serotonin. Dopamine is responsible for the feeling of arousal and ecstasy. When you watch porn, dopamine is automatically being released. Now, when you orgasm, even more dopamine is being released, which eventually reinforces the behavior. You're constantly going back to it because you're searching for that feeling again. Oxytocin is the bonding chemical. This chemical is usually released when a mother is like nurturing her child. Norepinephrine, I like to describe that chemical, it's responsible for like burying the experience in your memory. And serotonin is that calm you feel after you orgasm. All those neurotransmitters firing all at once helps you form this deep bonding connection between a husband and a wife, right? But when you're focusing all that attention on a computer screen, you're essentially bonding with a fantasy. It isn't real, it's fugazi, right? There is no courtship, there is no smell, there is no touch, there is no emotional connection. It isn't real. And that could explain why we always feel empty afterwards. You know what I'm talking about. To all my abusers, my masturbators, my porn watchers out there, every time we come, it's kind of like we come to our senses, like, what just happened? Or you just feel absolutely depleted and empty, like that was so pointless. Furthermore, just like your typical drug addict, after prolonged exposure, your tolerance goes up. That simply means the same amount of pleasure you used to get doesn't affect you anymore. So what happens next? You up the ante, and that's what happened to me. When I first started watching porn, a simple sensual massage could have got the job done. I was in and I was out and I was happy, right? But after a while, your girl was still a little dried up and nothing was affecting me anymore. So what did I do? I had to go to the wildest videos the kinkiest videos the site has to offer in order for me to get off. Now that's when stuff started getting a little out of hand. You know, I started thinking about it in most random places. I would have been in church, I would have been in class, I would have been like literally in the cafeteria of my college getting food on my plate, obsessing over it, how I can't wait to go home to relieve myself. That is when I started to get a little panicky, but I knew I couldn't stop it for myself. Not doing it, you begin to get compulsive thoughts, you lose control, and you actually start to get like feelings of withdrawal. Like, it was nuts. Let's go ahead and switch gears really quickly on how pornography addiction can affect our relationships. Now, when I was a senior at Kennesaw State University, woo woo, I did my senior seminar paper on pornography because I was passionate about it. I lived it, I breathed it, I overcame it. So that's what I wanted to teach my peers on. And they loved it. I got a standing ovation and everything. Anyway, back to business. Okay, so I'm gonna try my best to find my flash drive so that I can cite my sources in the description box below. However, if I can't find it, I'm just gonna go ahead and summarize my findings. Okay, so according to Psychology Today, about 500,000 relationships, marriages, end in divorce due to pornography addiction. And because the surveys are given anonymously, the males and females are free to just spew out the juice and tell the truth about what they experience. And they revealed, the study showed that men confessed to masturbating directly after having sex with their wives, or the men, they fantasized about the pornography in order to maintain their erection while having sex with their wives. It was pretty wild, and I feel like we need to address the elephant in the room. A lot of us are going down this path towards marriage. You know, we're courting, right? Where the girl, the female in the relationship is a virgin. She's trying to be the Proverbs 31 woman. However, you, fella, you're watching porn. You're going down a really bad path. You need to stop it right there where you are, because we need you, God and I need you to be completely devoted and sexually aroused by your wife and your wife only. So whatever you're doing, stop it, please. A lot of you guys looking at me like, she's cute and funny. I'm not gonna stop. I have needs. Well, I'm gonna boldly flip this here, step to you, and tell you that you played yourself. You absolutely play yourself. I'll tell you why. Your relationships, your mental health, your sex life, your witness, your salvation, it all depends on it. I get it. We all try to rationalize our bad habits. So let's start with me. Let me explain to you how I got sucked into this whole pornography addiction thing. It all started when I was thinking to myself, well, you know, one day I'm gonna be a wife, so I should tune in and learn a thing or two on how to please my one day husband. Really? It went from me literally typing in the hub. I'm just gonna say the hub. If you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. Typed in the hub, literally with a pen and a pad, taking notes. It went from me taking notes to getting a little hot, getting a little aroused. And then it went from that to looking at the door, getting up and locking it. It went from that to turning off the lights. Then me trashing my room looking for my headphones. Like, really, Cass? Really? And that's how I got sucked into it. Unbelievable. I also tried to rationalize with myself by thinking stuff like, oh, this is the last time, or I'm just gonna watch it and not masturbate, or I need to go to sleep and I'm really tense, so this is the only way I can calm down and go to sleep, so I'm just gonna masturbate. Or oh, this one was the one that I kind of just stuck with and took off with. It was, well, you know, I'm celibate and I'm not having sex. I should be able to know what my body can do before anybody else knows what my body can do, right? Lord, I took off with that one, and now I know everything what my body can do. Snap out of it. Focus. Now, if you admit to thinking any of these thoughts, it's time to tackle the steps on how to overcome pornography addiction. Step 1. Make up your mind and declare war with your flesh. I mean, you die to it daily. I kill my flesh on a daily. The title says how to overcome it. I'm still battling it. Every day I have to kill my flesh. You understand? We're in this together. Step 2. Tell someone you trust and gain an accountability partner. My accountability partner was my little sister and my best friend, Maya. Now, Maya and I were also roommates, and I confided in her and I told her enough is enough. Maya, here's what I'm dealing with, and here's what I need for you to do for me, right? We're here, right? We're sisters, right? So I need you to hold it down for me. Here's the thing. At this time every day, I like to masturbate, and I need to not do that anymore. So here's what I need you to do. I need you to hold me accountable. That girl took what I said and ran with it. She was not playing games with me. There would be times where I would be butting heads. Her room was directly across from mine. And she knew my pattern. She knew my habits. She knew every time I got quiet or the door was about to start closing and I'm about to lock it, she would come right, knock, 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 knock. Hey, Cass, what are you doing? And I'm just like, grit my teeth because she knows what I was about to do. And I appreciated her so much for that. I really, really struggled with it. And she was a rider, man. Like, it would be times where I would tell them, like, I'm really having a tough time. I'm really feeling a little tense right now. So she would like bring her blanket and her pillow, come straight across the room, across the apartment, and come to my room, and we will have Bible study. Bible study right on my floor, and it'll calm me down. And I literally don't know how I would have gotten through it without her, because finals and midterms, it was so stressful. That was the only way for me to release it. Feel me? So shout out to her for helping me get through it my senior year. Step 3, reduce or avoid your triggers at all costs. I'm talking about block the websites, unfollow the lustful pages on Instagram, no longer watch sexually charged movies, vines, or music videos. Certain things, oh my gosh, I was on a roll. 6 months clean, my guy. February 2015 rolls in. What movie's in theaters? 50 Shades of Grey. Your girl watches it. Why? Because the whole world wants to watch it. So Cassie's gonna go watch it too. Ciao. I fell that day, and on that day I was on my face before the Lord crying because I slipped up. I was clean for so long and I messed up and from that day I made an X on the ground and promised to myself that I would never do that again. And even certain songs are my triggers, and I realized that. You ever heard, I'm pretty sure most of you guys heard Or Nah with The Weeknd and Wiz Khalifa. Once that beat drops, dun 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 dun, it's like almost a trance that comes over me, and I feel like I'm a vixen. I'm about to start dancing, and I'm just like losing it. I gotta stop it, nip it right in the bud. So I really have to censor myself in order to not do it. Step 4, find a new outlet. You know, the old us, we relieved our stress by masturbating and getting our orgasms in. But now I like to diverge my attention elsewhere. I like to work out. I like to write. I like to create content such as this. Anything you guys want to do, music, do you, boo. Just don't do that. Feel me? Step 5, avoid being alone. I promise you the urge comes and goes. It comes in waves. So whenever you feel that itch, get up, go out with your friends, go on a walk, go do something else. I promise you it'll subside and it'll go away temporarily. You're going to notice as the steps go up, the more extreme it goes, okay? So step 6 would be sleep with your laptop or your cell phone in a completely different room or supervised by somebody else. You know, some of us may be thinking like, dang girl, that's a little extreme. How am I going to wake up? Use an old traditional alarm clock. That's the best thing I can help you. It may sound crazy, but literally, how bad do you want it, right? We want to overcome this. So we're going to have to go a little far to get it done. Step number 7, take the door off the hinges. Don't give yourself any privacy. We're going overboard now. Now we're really trying to fight this. Don't give yourself any privacy. Step number 8, I advise you to seek a therapist, a psychologist, or a counselor. Now, I didn't have to seek professional help personally because the last step was my saving grace. My last and final step would be to seek the Lord and establish a deep-rooted relationship with Him. There is so much power in the name of Jesus, and He can release you from any stronghold that the enemy has you under. The Bible tells us that the body is our temple and the Spirit dwells within it, and He's the potter and you're the vessel. Your body is not your own. You belong to Him. Just pray that God uses you and you have to fill yourself up with the daily bread, your living word, the Bible. You understand what I'm saying? Fill yourself up, make yourself full, so that way you no longer have to fill the void with pornography, addiction of drugs, weed, or any other thing that is not of God. Jesus said, whoever drinks of my water will never thirst again. Will never thirst again. And like I said in the beginning of the video, if only one person out of a million people who could possibly watch this gets delivered, to God be the glory. And I'm just so happy, and I did what I was supposed to do as his humble servant. I thank you guys for watching. I want you guys to comment, like, and subscribe. Tell me what you think of the video, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.